For a long time, humans and trolls lived in harmony. Eventually Christianity took over Europe and it wasn't tolerant of the old myths. King Olaf of Norway sent out his soldiers to drag the trolls out of the caves into the sunlight, which turned them all to stone. The soldiers traveled the country to kill every troll they could find, and soon the trolls became scared of Christian symbols like church bells. The massacre left the land without a single troll to be seen. This story was told to a little girl by her father before bedtime, inspiring her to become a paleontologist. 30 years later in the Jotunheimen Mountains, a mysterious man enters a cabin. As he looks around, he's jumped on by Nora, who starts beating him up and even gets ready to stab him. However, she stops when she realizes this is her colleague Andreas. He notices that there are many books about myths on the table and wonders what kind of research she's doing now, but she refuses to talk about it. Andreas has come to ask Nora for her help, since 3 years ago her knowledge helped the military defeat a huge troll they found in the mountains. She even was part of the Troll Commission, but she quit when she realized the new government wasn't different from the previous corrupt one. Now she has a restraining order from the palace. Among her things he finds his book, and Nora thanks him for dedicating it to her dad, who died during the last troll attack. Andreas points out that her father would have liked her to see what he's found, and Nora finally agrees to go with him. During the helicopter ride, Andreas makes Nora sign a confidentiality agreement. Instead of her name, she writes Tiny Trolley Molly. They arrive at the Vmork power station and meet with Professors Moeller and Wangle, who also were around during the last troll attack. The professors take Nora down a tunnel while telling her about the Allied sabotage operations during World War II. They claimed it was a race to develop the first atomic bomb, but that was just a cover for the search for Jotun, a massive troll that now appears in front of Nora's eyes. There are several scientists conducting research on this troll, and UV lights have been installed around him for safety. Project leader and evolutionary biologist Marion introduces herself and reveals she didn't want Nora to get involved. Andreas points out that the project wasn't making any progress and it would get shut down, so he had to act. Marion explains that the troll is hibernating and the only sign of life is pulse, but his DNA has more in common with plants than humans. Then Andreas takes Nora to an office, where they meet with Sigrid, who was also part of their last adventure. Andreas and Sigrid got together and now she's pregnant. In this room there are thousands of ancient texts about trolls, including Olaf's original troll law from the year 1030. There's a part missing, but it appears to expel the trolls from his land. The group is worried that there may be more trolls hiding in the country and they want to be ready in case of another attack, so they need Nora's help. Unsure of what to do, Nora tells them she needs the bathroom and leaves, but she actually returns to the room with Jotun. She takes the elevator to the highest platform and touches his nose as she starts to hum. Nora is disappointed when nothing happens, but the main computer detects a change in vitals. When she's about to leave, Jotun wakes up and looks at her. The group rushes into the room as the troll starts to move, only to discover he's chained up. Moeller orders the guard to activate the UV lights, but Marion doesn't want to kill the troll, so she spills coffee on the controls. The machine sparks and the lights stop working. While Nora gets in the elevator, everyone in the building panics and runs away. Jotun breaks the chains and hits the elevator, sending the cabin flying. Nora holds on and manages to survive when the elevator slides on the ground, although Andreas has to open it and help her out. Moeller sees a troll sample rolling near him and takes it before running away too. Jotun is already advancing through the lab and steps on Wangle, instantly killing him. Andreas and Nora join Sigrid and Marion on the stairs and rush to the emergency exit to escape. At that moment Jotun destroys the building to get out and stares at the group for a second before walking away. Moments later a helicopter takes the team to an Air Force base in Rijge, where they meet with another friend from their previous adventure, Chris, who has been promoted to major. While they wait in a conference room, Nora starts arguing with Marion for not taking better care of Jotun. They're interrupted by the arrival of Prime Minister Brinchman, who says he always thought the project was too risky. Marion still wants to capture the troll for research, while Nora points out that you can't control the forces of nature. Brinchman would love to continue the research, but his priority is saving his people, so he wants the military to kill Jotun. Nora gets furious because last time they killed an innocent troll, so Brinchman reveals he lost his brother during that attack and he doesn't want to make the same mistakes. After the meeting, Andreas sees Nora holding a piece of stone. It's part of the last troll they killed, and she carries it as a reminder of her errors. Andreas reveals he did the same and says that people grow from mistakes so they can keep fighting. Feeling inspired, Nora drags Andreas to Chris' meeting with his team. He gives them instructions on how they'll attack the troll and sends them to get ready. Nora tries to ask Chris to let her come and Chris says no, so Nora changes his mind by saying he owes it to her father who was killed by the last troll. Marion also joins them and Chris shows them that the military has equipped their choppers with UV lights for troll hunting. Meanwhile in a ski resort in Buskerud, people are having fun drinking and dancing. Suddenly the building starts shaking and the disco ball falls in the middle of the dance floor. The crowd hears some growling before Jotun rips off the ceiling and peeks inside. Everyone takes pictures until Jotun roars and reaches inside, causing them to panic and run. Guests start getting hurt as they push each other and parts of the building start falling. Jotun keeps reaching inside to grab as many people as he can to eat them without even chewing. Soon the helicopters arrive and turn on the UV lights. By flying near the troll, they burn several spots on his body. They manage to pull this off twice before Yutun tosses an electric pole at them, causing severe damage to one of the choppers. Chris checks on his fellow pilot, who tells him it's been an honor to fight with him. His helicopter then goes down and crashes in a big explosion that kills everyone inside. Chris is furious and hungry for revenge, but his chopper has received some damage too, and Nora tells him not to do anything stupid. As Chris stares at his enemy, Yutun decides to leave. Afterward, Chris approaches the crash site to say a few words for his friend. Marion can't believe the trolls were this ruthless, but Nora clarifies the last one wasn't like this, he only wanted to go home. She thinks they behaved like this because humans have been mistreating them for years. Andreas wonders if they could communicate with Yutun, and Nora says she knows someone who may help. In Lesia, a man who lost his house during the last attack has finally finished repairing it. Suddenly the table shakes and his dog barks like crazy. Soon Yutun shows up and steps on the house, destroying it again. In the Dovra Mountains, the group arrives at a restricted military area and finds a piece of broken fence to go through. They enter an old cave and Andreas finds a sticky substance on the wall. Nora explains that this is a hunting pit that was used to kill the Troll King. They kidnapped his child and hid it there to lure the king to his death. There are Christian symbols carved into the rocks to inflict maximum damage. Nora says that the Troll King survived the trap. In fact, it was the troll they fought 3 years ago. However, the remains of the troll child were never found. When the group reaches a pit, Nora taps the Troll King stone on the ground and asks the others not to freak out. Suddenly a troll appears in front of them and Nora confirms this is the child from the story. She's come to this cave many times over the last 3 years so the troll could be comfortable around her. She shows him his father's stone and after he sniffs it, she pets his nose. When she hums, the troll makes happy little noises to match. Andreas is impressed and curious, so Nora teaches him how to do it. He touches the nose and hums, getting a good reaction from the troll. Since the creature has no name, Nora calls him beautiful. She gets serious and asks the troll for a favor. In Boverdalen, Nora sees Yutun approach so she shoots a flare gun in the air. Beautiful then rises from the snow and both trolls start growling at each other. Andreas wants to open fire, but Marion stops him. When Beautiful roars, Yutun brutally stomps on the ground to crack the ice. Nora starts running as fast as possible and ends up falling, so Chris has to help her up. Sadly, Beautiful doesn't react in time and falls into the freezing water, struggling to stay afloat for a few seconds before he finally sinks. Yutun then comes after the group, so they run to get into the helicopter. When it takes off, Yutun tries to knock it down, but they manage to dodge and fly away. Nora has a breakdown as she stares at the hole where Beautiful sank. At an air ambulance base, Nora tells Marion the story of how he managed to bring Beautiful out of the cave once. He didn't try to destroy anything, he just sat down and looked at the stars for a while before going back to the cave where he felt safe. The group looks at a map tracking Yutun's journey and Marion realizes it's the Pilgrim's Route, which goes north to Nidaros. Nora checks her notes and remembers her father's stories. Nidaros was the capital back then and Olaf ruled from there. This means Yutun's goal is revenge. They fly to Trondheim to meet Esther, an old friend of Nora's dad. She shows them the Nidaros Cathedral, which was built between 1070 and 1300 and was later renamed the Heart of Norway. Here the church ruled the country without mercy. Since they're entering a church, Chris leaves his weapons at the entrance. Nora explains she's here for Olaf's tomb, so Esther guides them through an underground tunnel. She wonders why the church hid Olaf since he supposedly was very important for them, guessing that they had a disagreement. They enter an empty room and Esther explains that people have been looking for the tomb for years to no avail. Marion notices the same symbol they saw on the cave, so the group starts searching too. They find a mural of Olaf on a wall and when Andreas touches it, a small piece falls and leaves a hole in Olaf's stomach. Esther remembers that during the final battle, Olaf was wounded in his belly, his thigh, and his neck. She touches all those spots and pieces of the wall come loose to reveal holes where the wounds should be. Nora inserts torches in the holes and as she starts turning them, they can hear mechanical noises in the wall. When the 3 torches are fully turned, a door appears and Andreas helps her open it. The group enters the chamber on the other side and finally finds Olaf's tomb in the middle of a pond. Nora wants to open the coffin and Esther thinks it'd be disrespectful, so Nora has to remind her that it's an emergency. They push the heavy lid together and inside they find Olaf's skeleton holding his sword. Since it's made of silver it hasn't rusted, but it also means it's useless as an actual weapon. Inside Olaf's pocket they find the missing piece of the troll law. The group leaves the chamber to send a picture of the paper to Sigrid, who puts it together with the half in the institute. Now they can read the complete text and learn that Olaf was against kicking the trolls out of the country. The church killed him so they could carry on the massacre. Yutun doesn't want revenge on Olaf, he wants revenge on humanity. Meanwhile, videos of the attack on the resort and the man's destroyed house have gone viral and are appearing on media all over the world. The governments of other countries are worried about what the troll may do and threaten to take action if necessary. Brinchman appears at a press conference and explains they're evacuating all the people on the Pilgrim's Route, but he has no answer for the reporter asking how he'll solve this. Chris is called back to the base, but he ignores the message and stays with his friends so they can fight together. The group wonders what Olaf used to fight trolls back in the day, since silver isn't strong. Nora remembers the pond and dips a knife in holy water before touching the Troll King stone with it. The stone immediately breaks in half, confirming that trolls are weak to holy water. Afterward, Chris and Marion run to talk to the people being evacuated and ask for their help. The crowd cheers, ready to defend their country. While Esther teaches Andreas how to ring the church bells, a line forms from the pond to the military trucks to transport buckets of holy water that the soldiers use to fill their weapons. In the evening, Yutun finally shows up and brings down a few buildings as he makes his way to the church. Esther and Andreas start ringing the bells, which hurts Yutun's ears and slows him down. Then the soldiers open fire and the holy water ammo hits Yutun's body in several spots, slowly hurting him. Yutun loses his mind and throws a tree at the church, destroying the bells. Andreas and Esther manage to run before they could get hurt. The soldiers keep on shooting, but the damage caused by holy water isn't as effective as they expected and Yutun continues to advance. Chris blows up the line of explosives they've installed on the ground and this time the burns are severe, but the troll is still alive. The group starts running as Yutun comes for them, but he freezes when he hears a roar. To everyone's surprise, Beautiful is back and ready to throw down. Both trolls get into the river and start to fight with mighty strength. Yutun manages to punch Beautiful quite brutally and throws him onto the bridge, destroying the structure and causing the troll to fall into the water. Nora is desperate to help her friend but she doesn't know what to do. Marion remembers that Yutun has a pulse, so she thinks they should attack him from the inside so the holy water can destroy his heart. They only have one bomb left so they'll have to be careful. Yutun continues to beat Beautiful up in the river and break structures to use as weapons for even more damage. While Chris and Andreas get in the chopper, Nora and Marion run ahead to shoot Yutun. It doesn't do much damage but at least it keeps him distracted, although Beautiful is still stuck in the water under his enemy's foot. Chris has to turn the helicopter to fly around the troll and the bomb slides out. Andreas rushes to grab it just in time, but the detonator falls on the street and breaks. This means the only way to detonate the bomb now is a grenade, but someone will have to go down with it. Andreas knows what he must do so he calls Sigrid to say a final goodbye, although the connection ends before they're done. At that moment Beautiful passes out and the women run out of ammo. Marion runs but Nora refuses to give up. Then the helicopter finally reaches Yutun's head and Andreas jumps out with the grenade and the bomb. Yutun swallows everything and the grenade explodes, sending holy water through the troll's whole body. His hard skin starts to burn and the pain weakens him enough for a recovering Beautiful to reach into his chest and rip his heart out. Yutun's body falls as it disintegrates in the river. Sometime later, the church is being repaired and Esther opens an exhibition to teach the real story of Olaf. Sigrid has the baby and Chris becomes a fun uncle. Beautiful is now allowed to roam in the mountains and visits Nora's cabin regularly. In the meantime, Muller has been working on the sample he stole. It's now grown into a mini troll. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.